If you have PCOS, endo, eczema, acne, fatigue, thyroid issues, weight problems, PMS, heavy periods, mood swings, digestion problems, poor sleep, brain fog, or basically any kind of hormonal imbalance and or skin problem, then you're going to want to watch this video to the end. I'm going to tell you something that could change your life. Hi everyone, my name is Amy Beth and this is another episode of ABC on Women's Health. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the notification bell so you can see all the new videos I've uploaded, and you should go and check out some of my old ones. I've got some great ones on acne, and this video and the next one I'm making next week are related to one I made a while back on gluten. So do go and check those out, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to see the next upcoming videos. If you don't know, you're new to my channel, you don't know me in person, I'm just going to give you a quick update. I have had endo for the majority of my life, or endometriosis. If you don't know what that is, just Google it. There is tons of stuff about it. It's actually very, very common, but not very well known about like how to treat it, if that makes any sense. And as part of that, I have had severe acne on my face and my back. I still do have acne. I'm wearing makeup so you can't see it, but if you don't believe me, go and check out some of my previous videos. I do show you my face up close with no makeup on, so you can see just how much acne I have. Some of those videos were a few weeks ago, but my skin has not changed heaps since most of the videos that I've uploaded. I have also mentioned in the video I made last week on parabens that I was miraculously healed of my endo, but there are still some health issues that I need to take care of, and I still need to rebuild my body's overall health. And so one of the things that I am doing as part of that is taking care of my diet and my gut health and what I'm eating, mostly because I want to clear up my skin. I would really like to have lovely, clear skin, to look in the mirror and not go, ugh. I'm sure that there are plenty of people out there who feel the same way. I feel like I keep waving my hands around and gesturing, but you can't see them. I have a band-aid on. I cut my finger with a kitchen knife. It wasn't pretty. It's not terrible. I didn't need stitches or anything, but it's kind of deep and it's pretty painful. So I was actually cutting an onion and the knife slipped and just went like straight into my finger. It's pretty sore. So that's why I have a random band-aid on my finger in this video, because I cut it with a kitchen knife. So this room that I'm sitting in is not my room. It's my room for a time. I'm actually house sitting at the moment, or my husband and I are house sitting, and this is the room we're staying in, but it's not my house and not my room. So if you notice that it's different and it's weird, that's why. So we're really enjoying getting to live in this beautiful house for a short time that is really lovely, and a lot more than we could afford if we were to buy a house. So that's a really nice advantage of house sitting. But I'm actually looking forward to going home, which is about 3 weeks away. But that will be really nice when I go home, and I will let you know when I'm at home, and so you can see what my actual house looks like. It's not as nice as this one. Alright, so to get into the material for today's video, I'm talking about dairy and how it can affect your hormonal health and your skin health, especially. More than anything else, I'm aware that it is a big impactor on skin health. So I'm going to link a whole bunch of articles below, same as usual, with tons of information in them about dairy, so you can do some research, make up your own mind about what you think about all of this. This is just coming from my personal experience and my personal understanding of how these things affect our bodies. So something you may know about milk is that it has lactose in it, and some people are lactose intolerant and they have to have lactose-free milk. But what you may not know is that lactose is a sugar. And if you don't believe me, just think about the kind of sugar that you find in fruit is called fructose, and the kind of sugar that you find in other foods is called glucose. And then there's sucrose and lactose. So lactose is a sugar, and your body uses it as a sugar. But not only that, there are hormones and things in milk that come from the cow, that come from the food that the cow eats, and there is a little bit of debate about whether or not hormones that are eaten can be used by the body, but they can, because if they couldn't be, then no one would take the pill. That's how I tend to think about it anyway, but I'm not an expert on the subject. I'm a self-taught expert. I don't consider myself an expert. I have done a lot of research into this for the sake of my own health, and actually this dairy-free thing is fairly recent for me, probably the last 6 months, but I am 100% sure that it's making a difference. So probably 6 to 12 months ago, some of my sisters started saying that when they were having milk, it was affecting their bodies, it was making them feel sick, it was making them have to use the bathroom a lot. My older sister and her 2 children were dairy free because she found it was making them feel sick. So I was thinking about all of these things, and I was thinking, you know what, when I have my morning cup of tea, I always have to run to the bathroom within like half an hour. So maybe there's some sort of connection to that. And so then I thought, oh well, it can't hurt to try having lactose-free milk. So I started having lactose-free milk, which by the way is a little bit weird because it's extra sweet. I think that's because they actually add in an enzyme. I think it's called lactase. They don't actually take the lactose out of the lactose-free milk. They add in lactase, which then allows your body to process the lactose. And that lactase is actually something that is taken out of the milk naturally in the heating process that milk goes through to kill all of that bacteria in it. So by adding it in, it makes the milk sweeter. And fun fact, skim milk has more lactose in it than other milks. So you're getting more sugar in your low-fat milk. Is that actually helpful? Anyway, so I was having lactose-free milk, and I did start to notice a little bit of a difference, that when I would go and have something with normal milk in it or normal dairy products, I would feel a little bit unwell. But I don't actually know what really made me question. I think it was the fact that I was being really careful about not eating gluten, but I was still getting really bad bloating, like regularly, like really bad. Like it looked like I was pregnant, and I'm pretty small, so that's a lot of bloating. And I was getting really like uncomfortable tummy aches and all sorts of things. And Brent actually said to me, he was like, you know, maybe you should try just not having milk, because maybe it's actually, maybe the milk is what's making you unwell and what's giving you bloating. Maybe it's not the gluten as much as it is the milk. And so I was like, oh, but I really like tea and coffee and I don't want to cut it out. But I tell you what, I was sick of bloating, I was sick of having tummy aches, and I was sick of being sick. So I decided to give it a go, and I cut it all out, and I was being really, really strict. And I started to feel so much better. And then this one day, I was out with a friend and she bought me lunch at Macca's. I had a wrap, which is not gluten-free, but I thought, well, the wrap has a bit less bread in it than a burger, so I'll eat that. And it also had mayo in it. And I came out with like 3 new pimples that night on my cheek. And then the next morning I had 3 more on my forehead. And I hadn't had any breakouts for like 2 weeks since I'd gone off dairy. So that kind of suggested to me that it was both gluten and dairy. And I have also discovered that when I drink milk, my skin gets so inflamed and itchy, and I get little under the skin bumps, like little pimples that never actually come through. The really irritating itchy ones that you can't actually get at because they're under the skin. So I stopped having milk altogether. And then the other day I ate some brie cheese, because really the thing I miss the most about dairy is cheese. And when we came to this house sit, the owners had actually left us a bottle of champagne and some cheese and crackers as like a little celebration for our first house sit. I kept looking in the fridge and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And then one day I was like, you know what, I really just want to eat some cheese. So I ate it, and yeah, I think it was that night I was just itchy. Like I couldn't see a difference on my skin, but I was just like doing some work on my laptop and watching some TV, and I didn't realize it until I went to wash my face before I went to bed, but I've been scratching like just on and off all throughout the night, and everything was red and raw, and I hadn't had any new breakouts as such, but because I've been scratching and not even paying attention, some of the skin had broken on different pimples that were healing, and so there was more infection and more pimples coming up because of that. And so that was a bit frustrating, a bit depressing, but it also made me realize just how important it is that I'm not to have dairy anymore of any kind. And it's really depressing because I love cheese. The milk so much is not that big of a deal for me. I've learned to enjoy tea and coffee with other things in them. I actually make a lot of coffee because I'm working at Donut King, and so I'm also a barista, and so I'm making a lot of coffees. I'm heating a lot of this milk, and and I'm smelling the coffee and I'm like, the coffee smells good, but the milk is just kind of gross. I don't know why, but my mindset has just changed, probably a bit because of all the stuff I know about milk, and the way it makes me feel has just made me really look at milk and go, you know what, it's not that appealing. Ice cream, I've never actually been really big on ice cream. I just never really enjoyed it heaps. I know that might sound weird, but every now and then I am in the mood for ice cream and I want nothing but ice cream. So I am relatable to some degree. But yeah, even when I was a kid, I was not huge on eating ice cream. It's just not been one of my favorite things. So that's not a big deal for me. But things like chocolate and cheese and probably like cream, like when people put like creamy things in desserts, that is really appealing to me and it's really tempting. So it is kind of hard in some ways, probably not as hard as the gluten-free that I'm doing, but it's still difficult, and I definitely think that it's worth looking into. It has made a difference to me as far as my bloating has gone away, my digestion has improved, my skin is healing up so much faster, and I'm pretty sure that because it's affecting my digestion so much, that would have been affecting my pelvic pain, and it would have been causing inflammation, and it would be messing with my hormones. I am confident that it messes with my hormones because sugar and your gut health impact your hormones, and my acne is very hormonal, so it comes and goes at different times. And actually by changing my diet and by changing what I'm eating and when I'm eating it, I'm actually being able to level out some of those hormonal things like PMS. I used to get really bad PMS, so like I would get really badly depressed for at least 2 days right at the beginning of my period, and I could be really cranky, really moody throughout my period. I would get really nasty pain, really heavy bleeding, and just like, yeah, big mood swings. A lot of hormonal acne would come out before my period just to add to all of the depression I was feeling. My face would just, you know, really help with all of that. And I would often feel my period coming on for about a week before it arrived. And some of you might go, gee, that would be nice, then it wouldn't show up unexpected. But it would still show up unexpected because I could be there going, oh, I'm feeling period pain, is it coming today? No, maybe tomorrow. And the next day I'm like, oh, period pain, is it coming today? And that would go on for several days until it would just rock up, and I'd be like, oh, I was getting used to this and I was thinking it wasn't going to be here ever. Now it's here, still surprised. And it was irregular, and there's so many different factors for all of these, but as far as PMS, my PMS has changed. So for those of you who don't know what PMS is, it's premenstrual syndrome or premenstrual symptoms. I'm not actually sure exactly what that last word is, but it's essentially all the things and little signs and differences that your body has because it's about to menstruate. All the fun things that let us know it's going to happen or that it is happening. Only probably in the last 2 to 3 months have I seen a huge difference in those things just sort of leveling out and not being a problem anymore. So instead of one day feeling like the whole world is crashing down on me and I can cry about everything, sometimes I get a day where I'm just kind of like I just don't feel happy today, but I'm okay, no big deal. No one's happy all the time. I really don't notice that big dip in my mood right before my period, and I'm not noticing like basically any pain in advance. Sometimes I'll feel like a little bit of a difference like the day of, but basically I just feel normal all the way through. During my period I sometimes get a bit more tired, but not heaps, and I'm not getting like basically any acne, any extra acne come through in that week. So all of those like extra symptoms are disappearing, and that is so exciting for me because I'm pretty sure that it was never supposed to be part of the design of our bodies menstruating. I don't think it was ever supposed to be that we would have to go through hell just to have a period, really. And this has been so amazing for me, and I'm pretty sure that dairy is a big factor in that. And I'm linking a lot of these articles below to let you know how and why, so you can look it up and see what people say. It's interesting to know that dairy actually gives your body a sugar spike, which then encourages growth of the bad bacteria, not the good bacteria. And it has also been linked with spiking your testosterone levels, and that's what causes acne. There are also differences between a lactose intolerance and a milk allergy. You can also be intolerant to the casein protein in milk. Now, I'm not 100% sure what it is for me, but I know it's not just a lactose intolerance. And because it comes out on my skin, and it's been known to come out as acne, eczema, rosacea, candida, overgrowth, which is a yeast, and it can come out on your skin as little white bumps. So basically any skin problems can be related directly back to a milk allergy. And so it's weird for me because I don't recall ever being allergic to milk, but I have had severe acne since I was 12 years old. It's possible that I was always allergic to milk, but because I had so many other health issues and people were just like, oh, everyone gets acne when they're a teenager, that no one ever really noticed that I was allergic to it. I mean, I didn't notice. It's really interesting that that has developed for me. And I do have an article that I linked below where another lady had the same thing, where she didn't realize it was a really big problem for her until later in life. I feel like I'm really waffling in this video. I'm trying to get to a point. I didn't plan this out properly. I'm not going to tell you like why you should stop having dairy or all of the science behind why dairy can be bad for you. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of people saying, you know, we're not baby cows and milk was designed for baby cows. That doesn't really help anything because we're just like, yeah, so. But there is so much more information out there about what milk does once it's inside your body and why our bodies can't handle it as well as they should. And in reality, as babies, we have the ability to process lactose, but that disappears for most people as we get older, and that can develop into allergies, or it can just be an intolerance, and some of us won't notice it. And if you have multiple health issues and hormonal imbalances, chances are you're not noticing the little things that are actually making that worse, or that are stopping you from recovering and healing from that. And so what I would really urge you guys to do is to look into this, to do the research, read the articles I've linked below, and see if you can see any links between any of the symptoms that you have, any of the health issues that you have. It's so important to look into the little areas because the things that we eat and we put into our bodies have so much more impact on our overall health than what we realize. And I'm going to do a video on gut health next week. Stay tuned for that one because I will cover how the things that get into our bodies can actually then really seriously affect our overall health. And dairy is a really good place to start. You will be surprised by how many people are actually intolerant or allergic to it and don't know that they are. And I would recommend that if you have any major skin concern, that you take a serious break from dairy just to see if it makes a difference. And honestly, if it doesn't make a difference, there's no point in cutting that out of your life and trying to survive without it. Who really wants to survive without cheese anyway? It's pretty delicious. If you can cut it out for a week at least, I would suggest more, 2 to 3 weeks. 3 months is the ideal for anything because it takes your body time to adjust. But I think if you're not seeing any results in 3 weeks, then you're probably safe. But if you see results in your skin improving in 3 weeks, and even just the level of irritation, if that disappears from your body or is reduced in 3 weeks without dairy products at all, then I would recommend that you continue it and see what a difference it can make for you, because it can be huge. It's made a huge difference for me. It's made a huge difference to my overall health and how I just feel during the day. I'm not bloated and sick all the time with tummy cramps and bowel movements that I really don't need. And if you don't believe that I have bad skin, I'll just get up really close. I'm wearing makeup and you can still see things poking through. I tried to keep it reasonably light coverage today, but the makeup I'm wearing is actually got healing properties in it, which surprisingly, it's the first makeup I've ever worn that actually benefits my skin, and I don't actually have to feel scared about putting it on. If I put this makeup on, is my face gonna be worse when I take it off tonight? It's actually usually either the same or a little bit better, so that's fantastic. And I'm going to link where you can buy this makeup because I actually sell this makeup as a little side business. So far I'm not making any money out of it, but it supports women who have been sexually abused, and it also supports women around the world who are selling it by giving them financial freedom and financial growth, and we get to support each other as a team, and we get to support other women who have been through so many terrible things. The bonus is that it's really healthy, it's really good for your skin, and I can actually wear it with acne and not feel scared that it's gonna make things worse. But you can see it, and I just want to show you that so that you know I do have acne, but I can promise you that it is improving so much. Like a couple of days ago I ate some sugary stuff and it came up a bit itchy, but it's gone down again because I flushed my system with lots of water and lots of healthy foods. No more dairy, no more cheese, and my skin is coming up so much better. And even though seeing the healing of all those scars and those pimples is not super fast, having that irritation go away means that I'm not always at it, I'm not always touching it, and it is healing up, and it's having time to breathe and to get back to normal and to be healthy. So I do have regular milk in my fridge, but I am not drinking this. I bought this only so that guests can have something to drink, because when you offer them tea and coffee and you only have like soy milk or almond milk to put in it, they kind of look at you funny and they're like, why would I do that? That's gross. But what I usually drink and what I usually have in my tea and coffee is soy milk. This is not the usual brand that I get, but I bought this one because it's organic, and organic is the best, especially if you're having soy milk. It's the best to be having because it's not going to have any nasty chemical residues left in it. This one's not as nice in drinks because it's organic and it is a raw and unsweetened product. It does separate a little bit, and it does just kind of taste like soy, but it's okay and it works. I usually use a different brand that's been more processed to put in my tea, because then it doesn't separate and it tastes a little bit nicer. And so the brand that I usually use is this one, which is Vitasoy, and this is my almond milk. It's also unsweetened. I try not to, if I'm not going to have lactose, why would I put sugar in the other milks that I'm drinking? So I usually mix this with a bit of soy milk to have in my coffee, because soy milk tastes better in tea and coffee, but it's not as good for you as almond milk. And this one I actually really enjoy. It tastes nice and it's really healthy for you. We use this a lot. My husband and I both use this a lot in smoothies. We make smoothies in the morning, like banana smoothies or green smoothies, and this is the best to put in them. So I really love Vitasoy's almond and soy milk. They're really nice and they're pretty good for you. So they also add no artificial colors, flavors or preservatives to their milks. So that's really good as well. So the take home from this video is to please do some research into dairy, especially if you have skin problems. But if you have any kind of hormonal imbalance or hormonal health problem, like any of the ones I mentioned at the beginning of this video, please look into dairy and what it might be doing to your body, and do a trial experiment, see if it helps. Check out some of the articles I linked below, and you can also connect with me on Facebook and Instagram. I will link those below as well. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great week.